CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester.
Not too long ago, just let me know. You see how I feel. Payback is a dog. She standing on her forelegs. I'm on the back of two paws. Doggy style, got my tongue out while I'm fucking her raw. Me against the world, my back to the wall. I'm throwing blows while I'm taking these hits. Pay back a bitch, I sniff her ass to get a scent of a whip. No telling when she gon' bite you, jumping over the fence. What goes around, comes around, that's just the karma of man. I seen a lot of people snitch just to get out from the pen. Come home early, but they nigga got 10. Cooperate with police and be right back on the streets. Get out and get murked, they ain't been home for a week. You hear women, God forbid your daughter ass get beat. Decision can cost your life and yeah, payback ain't cheap. You make your bed, you gotta lay there, messy or neat. You was a goon back in your time, now your son in the streets. But he looking up to you, he like, now who want beef? You try to preach, he suck his teeth with a gun in his reach. Now we hit you that it ain't so cool to be a shooter. Your past always catch up to the future. See, I sell dope, but who worse, me or the user? He used to be the dope man too, now he a loser. Think about my daughter, how I never wanna lose her. To society might be best for me to move her. But no matter where I go and how much I try to maneuver, payback is still a bitch with a whole bunch of manure. The smell can make you scream, selling bricks was a dream. 20 years later, what if your daughter that fucking fiend? Payback a bitch, you never know what she gon' bring. You never know how karma coming, my nigga, and that's the thing. Everything you do is documented and saved. Was you real? What the fuck you gon' take back to your grave? Was you broke? Was you paid? Did you repent? Did you praise? Lost or saved? Was you humble or too stuck in your ways? Was you happy? Was you sad? Built up with anger and rage? Will I be haunted from my past, from the decisions I make? Was you weak or a punk? Was you tough? Was you brave? When I go, I wanna die from old age. I'd rather
shit. Scuds and Maserati. Ha. I'm giving them hope. I'm giving them hope. You giving them hell. You giving them hell. You fill it with pride. You fill it with pride. Then you send them to jail. You send them to jail. I give them a dream, I said, and you'll never fail. Just don't ever lie. Just don't. And don't ever tell. I'm giving them hope. You giving them hell. You giving them hell. You fill it with pride. You fill it with pride. Then you send them to jail. You send them to jail. I give them a dream, I said, and you'll never fail. Just don't ever lie. Just don't. And don't ever tell. Put it in your pocket for they come and pocket you, nigga. That's when they sit you on your pocket with a Glock to you, nigga. He ran out of time, ain't make it to the hospital, nigga. His body cold, the stick inside him. He a popsicle, nigga. It always be the ones like guns, you know I got you, my nigga. That fuck around and rock you, and I ain't talking foxes, my nigga. They fuck around and pop you, and I ain't talking sock you, my nigga. I'm talking blood up on the floor, they gotta mop you, my nigga. I'm from a city where it's 2 schools, one you gotta go. Imagine if you had a funeral and don't nobody show it, gotta hurt. Even when you die, your baby mama heard you dead, she ain't even cry. Now who gon' raise your son? They ain't gon' teach him how to read, but how to raise a gun. They got him standing on the corner in the blazing sun. You know, when it's summertime, the Lord is taking some. It might just be your family that he taking from. I'm giving them hope, giving them hope. You giving them hell, you giving them hell. You fill it with pride, you fill it with pride. You send them to jail. Give them a dream, I said, and you never fail. Just don't ever lie, and don't ever tell.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to W.W.J.D. Thank you for tuning in to another epic live podcast right here on CMPRadio.net. As promised, as always, I have my guest here, head wide receiver coach, 28-year-old Chester native, born and raised, Damiere Shaw. What's up, bro?
Oh, man. What's up, brother? I can't complain, man.
Oh, man, thank you for being here. Thank you for having us in this beautiful establishment. As you can see, we have a beautiful background. You probably can't see it unless you zoom in, but you can see the stadium off in the distance. This is beautiful. As always, W.W.J.D does a word of the week, and this week will be no different. This week's word is conscientious. Wishing to do what is right, especially to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. Just hearing that word conscientious and being a coach, the head wide receiver coach, what does that mean to you?
Conscientious. I think it means everything, right? Like, first and foremost, before I'm a wide receiver coach, I'm a father and I'm a husband. So you talk about being conscientious. I try to be conscientious as a father, as a husband, right? Do the things that my wife needs me to do to help her and support her every step of the way, and do the same thing for my son, to be there for him, be intentional with the time we spend, be intentional in the things that we do in the time that we have together. So it's everything. I'm a firm believer in how you do anything is how you do everything. So, if I slack off as a father, as a husband, I'm slacking off. That's going to carry into work.
I love how you said intentional, being intentional in what you choose to do. Just kicking off the interview, can you tell us a little bit about who Damiere Shaw is? And even though we know now that the Shaws is a very big name in the city of Chester, shout out to all your brothers who are in sports.
A bunch of them.
Yes.
A bunch of them.
Shout out to your dad who is coaching the champ currently. So just give us a little bit of history about who Damiere Shaw is and where Damiere Shaw comes from.
I think that's a multi-layered question, but Damiere Shaw, right now, and I first would like to identify myself first and foremost as a man of God. I try to allow my faith to steer me in every direction, in every aspect of my life. I talked about being a father, a husband, a coach, a leader, and I think my faith is the foundation of all that and how I do all of that. Does that mean I'm perfect? No, but I try to live in a way that's pleasing to my Savior. So a man of God, first and foremost.
Dope.
And I would like to say a leader of men, a leader of women, of just a leader. I march to the beat of my own drum, not in a pompous way, but in a way that I'm confident, in who I am, and I'm confident that, my calling is to lead people to their journey, to their destination, and I've been blessed with the privilege and the honor of leading young men, 18 to 22-year-old young men at my job as a college football coach. But I try to be a leader of my family, my immediate and my extended family. So,
absolutely,
man, a God, a leader. Those two things come to mind when you ask me who I am.
What type of kid was you?
Bad as hell. Man, I was always in trouble.
Yeah,
I was always in trouble. So, that's why I find such a great calling and as a coach, as a college football coach, because you see people go through these stages in life. You see them come in as a freshman, right, and leave as a grown man. You see people so unsure and so insecure and so self-conscious of themselves, and then you see them grow into the confident leaders and role models and mentors. But I was bad, man. I was always in trouble.
One of your favorite childhood memories?
That's broad, bro. You gotta give me something more than that.
I want the one memory that you think of that
favorite
you could,
childhood memory.
Yes.
I grew up a Cowboys fan.
Huh?
I grew up a Cowboys fan. Yep. Grew up a Cowboys fan. So my brother Dennis, assistant head coach at Chester High School now.
Shout out to Dennis Shaw.
Recruiting coordinator, running back coach. They just put up 80 piece. That's crazy.
Yep.
So I always wanted to be like him. He was the football player. You talk about football. Football was built in our family by my brother Dennis. So he was a big-time Cowboys fan, and he loved Emmitt Smith. So you know what? Big bro's a Cowboys fan, so I was a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
So my mom, she took me and my brother Dennis down to the Philadelphia Eagles and Cowboys game down in Dallas on Christmas Day. And I think I was about 12, 13 years old. We had a blast, bro. We had a blast.
Wow.
So definitely favorite childhood memory.
Now, you probably answered this question already. Was your brother Dennis one of the most influential people in your life at that time? You know, coming up, and when you think about sports and getting into football and where you are now, would you consider him one of the most influential people? And were there other major influences in your life that brought you to where you are now?
1,000%. 1,000%. Like, my life, my journey, you know, it's no coincidence. It's the people who have come into my life throughout my journey to help me get to this point. I had a plethora of influencers and role models who helped me get to this point. But my brother Dennis, yeah, he played a huge role because he played the role not only as an inspiration in sports, but he just held me accountable. Like, he was the one, no matter how successful I was on the football field, or even now, like, he'll tell me the flat out truth. But he was definitely a huge influence. But all my brothers, all my siblings, my sisters as well, everybody played a different role in my life and helped me get to this point. But he was definitely huge.
And what's so dope that both of you do? So I work with a program called Safe Corridors, and shout out to Safe Corridors and Jonathan King, where a bunch of men and women from the community, we go to every school in Chester Upland School District, and we make sure that the kids get in school safely, and then we return during the let out to make sure that they get home safely. And through that program, and just teaching in the after school programs with Making a Change group, I used to see him all the time at Toby Farms. And I just went to STEM for their opening day, and I seen him there, and it was so dope to just see he's not just a football coach, but he's also in the schools. He's also making those relationships with not just the children, but with the parents.
Yeah, he in the trenches with him, for sure.
And I think about that, then I think about you as his little brother, and it's just really dope to see black men, black fathers from our community doing what you guys are doing. So one thing that we're real big on CMP Radio is giving out flowers, verbal flowers. And I say it every weekend, but for those who missed it, it stems from a statistic that we once read that said most men don't receive their first bouquet of flowers until their funeral. So I just want to take this time to give you your flowers, Damiere Shaw, and thank you for all the diligent work that you do with so many different children, so many different families that you connect with, that you impact. So this is us giving you your flowers.
That's love, bro. I appreciate you, baby.
Yep. Growing up, did you always see yourself as a football coach? Is this something that you always wanted to do? No. Because I know it's a backstory how you started, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I always tell a story when people ask me about you, like, yo, dude was so nice in college that when he got hurt, that they actually brought you back to coach and allowed you to keep your scholarship. Is that correct?
Yeah. Huge blessing. Yeah.
And that was at Temple.
Yep.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, first off, I never ever dreamt of being a coach. And, I talked about those influential people in my life, and a bunch of those people were football coaches. But I never thought I was going to coach. Never. I fell in love with the game at an early age. I fell in love with football probably like 7 years old when I first started playing Pee Wee football with the Brookhaven Jets. And I fell in love with everything about the game. Again, it all stems from my brother Dennis, right? Like, he was the guy. Every level, the guy.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with it. I was so competitive. We grew up, big family, right? We all in one crib, and everything was competitive. And football, me and my brother Dion, who's now coaching at Roman Catholic and one of the best receiver coaching trainers in the area, he and I were so competitive because we were the two youngest. And I fell in love with the game, man. The smell of the football, the feel of the football. I used to go to sleep with the football in bed. Like, everything about it, bro. And I just wanted to play. I didn't care about the notoriety. I never cared about offers. I just wanted to play because I love to compete and I love the game. So when, fast forward, I was fortunate enough to receive some scholarship offers coming out of Cardinal O'Hare. And I go to Temple, and, I redshirted my freshman year, getting in the swing of things. And at the end of my freshman year, I'm in a spring ball going into my sophomore year, and now I'm competing for a starting spot. Well, I suffered my 5th concussion in the span of 3 years. The doctor told me, we can't put you back out there. That's how I joined the staff. In short, that's how I joined the staff. Now, that was a tough transition, one of the hardest things I've ever been through in my life. Having to hang up the cleats at 19 years old. I thought I was going to be playing until I was 39, right? Wow. But that was tough, and that's how I got into it. And I'm going into, let's see, 3, 4, 6, 8. I'm going into my 10th season as a college football coach.
That's dope.
So yeah, it's been.
I want to talk about that a little bit. One thing I'm big on is I always tell people I give myself freely because I never want people to miss the work. The lesson is in the work. It's never in how they see us now, right? It's easy for people to see Damiere Shaw, head wide receiver coach, and say, wow, that's Damiere Shaw. He's the head wide receiver coach. Life is good. It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that journey, from the time that you got hurt. What was some of the things that helped you overcome that transition, hanging up those cleats and having to go coach now because you can't play this game that you love so much? Because like you said, you just wanted to play.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how hard that transition was for you. What were some of the things that got you through?
My faith, first and foremost. I had nothing to lean on besides my faith, besides my family, my girlfriend at the time, who was my wife now, your sister.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. But my faith, man, that's all I had. I had to trust that God had a bigger plan for me that didn't involve me playing. So that was the main thing. And then my family, again, big family. We always leaned on each other. So we ain't need to lean on anybody else from the outside. We ain't need affirmation or anything from anybody else. We had each other, and they the ones who uplifted me and said, man, listen, with or without football, you'll be successful. So those are the things that got me through for sure. And
since you brought it up, Damiere Shaw is not just the head wide receiver coach of Rutgers. He is not just a 28-year-old phenomenal man. He happens to be my brother-in-law.
Yes, sir.
Someone who I love, someone who I respect, and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, bro, I as a brother, and Maya has 5 older brothers.
Yeah.
We couldn't ask for a better brother-in-law. So thank you for being the man that you are, the father that you are, the friend that you are. Always, every time I see you, we give each other the biggest hugs, and it's something that we look forward to because we know that. Especially for me, that's one moment in life that you just getting some pure, genuine, positive energy and love, and you can feel it. No, so thank you for that, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Can I tell a story?
You can tell your rendition of the story.
Yeah, I can
tell.
I'm
going to tell mine.
I got to tell a story.
Almost hemmed him up.
So the first time I met Damiere was I came in the house, and it was like, what? 9 o'clock. Yeah, it was like 9 o'clock already.
Yeah, going on 9:30.
Now, of course, going on 9:30, which is even later. And it was Damiere, my little sister, and one of her friends, and they had to sit in the living room. And it was so funny because I was meeting my 2 older brothers there, and we go in the back door, and I was wondering why they ran out. Right? They took off.
Yeah.
And I was about to leave, and then it hit me. I said, wait, my little sister didn't come say nothing to me. And I walk upstairs, and my whole life changed. My whole entire life changed. I seen a man, because at that time, he's not a kid. I seen a man sitting on the couch with my sister and her friend. And I remember asking him, I said, I asked him his name, and he told me his name, and I said, what time are you leaving?
Nah, come on, bro. Don't.
No,
this is what he hit me with. He said, hey, homeboy, you got a ride? Hey, man, he ain't asked me my name. Hey, homeboy, you got a ride?
I remember asking you what time he was leaving, and with a straight face, he said like 11. It was. I knew at that time it was time for him to leave because I couldn't leave, knowing that it was going to be another male in the house that was going to be leaving after me. But fast forward, man, I remember being incarcerated and talking to you and writing you, and man, I love you.
I love you, bro.
I love you, bro. This is real. And like I said, I couldn't ask for a better brother-in-law. So big ups to you, bro.
No doubt. Appreciate that.
Going back to, when you were hurt, and what were some of the What were some of your favorite quotes? What was some sayings or prayers that you heard that got you through? I always share my favorite quote. People heard it. Y'all heard it a million times. I'm going to say it again because it is my favorite quote, and I live by it every day.
Yeah.
It comes from Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, came home, became the president of South Africa. So as you can imagine, this is why he's one of my favorite people, because he did something that nobody believed that he could do after serving all that time in prison.
Yeah.
He came home and didn't just become an activist. He didn't just become a team leader or any. The man became president of South Africa. But he said a quote. He said, "There's no passion to be found in playing small and settling for a life less than the one you're capable of living." What was some of the quotes? What was some of the things that got you through? What was some of those prayers that got you through? What did you say to yourself those nights that you realized, I can't put those cleats on tomorrow?
Yeah.
But I still got to go out there and do a job.
So one of my favorite verses is found in the book of Romans, written by the Apostle Paul, right? Romans 8:28 is the scripture that I've always leaned on, and it's, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And it's not some things, right? It's not these things, it's not those things. It's all things work together. So now you're talking about my dream. The only thing I ever thought about was playing football. The only thing I ever really loved was playing football. That's taken away from me, right? And the word tells me and reassured me the entire time throughout my process that all things work together for my good, right? All things. So losing the game of football, all things work together. Losing that dream, that childhood dream that I always had, all things, right? So as I'm going through that process, I had to just trust God, like, okay, this is going to work out for my good. And I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I trust that it's going to be for my good, right? So that was the thing that I leaned on heavily. That's one that I always, quote back to some of my players when they're going through tough times. But yeah, that was the most prominent thing that I kept saying to myself throughout that time.
How was it getting to where you are now and looking back? How was it being from Chester and knowing that you had a whole city somewhat on your back, because you are rare. You're very rare. We have a lot of athletes. We have a lot of musicians. Very rarely do we have not just one person, right, but the whole family almost. Get into not just the coaching field, but to make it to this level of coaching. And I know it was a time that you had got signed to the North Carolina Panthers at one point.
Carolina Panthers, yeah. I was working with them for a little bit.
How was that, and how did that make you feel?
As far as working for the Panthers, or are you going back?
Yeah, just getting there, getting that call and saying, being that kid from Chester, PA, that got that call and said, "We want you."
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, right? It's 32 professional football teams. 32, right? So, I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to go work with one of 32. Wow. And I think, like, you find out in life, everything is just, it is what it is. Once you get there and you experience these things, it's not like this overwhelming experience. I think the journey is truly the destination. Right, and what do I mean by that? Like I always say, I just told you, right? I wanted to play in the NFL.
Yeah,
I just wanted to play football. I wanted to play professionally, and now I get this call that I get a chance to go work in the NFL, and I get there and I'm there for about a month and a half before I decided to leave and come back to college and work at Rutgers. And even now, and as a I just was fortunate enough to make 30 for 30. Right, is this sports media network that ranked the top 30 coaches under 30 years old, and I was on that.
Wow.
And as a young coach growing up, once I first got into it as a student assistant, then a graduate assistant, and quality control coach, all in these support staff roles, I've always said I wanted to make the 30 for 30, right? And I always wanted to be a Power 5 position coach. I said I wanted to do that before I was 30 years old. Well, you hear in this, I'm very fortunate to be here, don't get me wrong, but like you realize those nights you stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and wake back up at 5, right? That's truly the destination, that journey of getting there.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. That's the experiences. Those experiences, what you reminisce, and as everything, the more you move up, the more responsibility you have, which, responsibility in and of itself is a blessing.
Absolutely.
But man, I look back at those moments when I was climbing my way up the ladder, and I'm like, dang, those nights were fun when you're sleeping in the office, right? And I'm calling your assistant like, yeah, it's gonna be one of those nights, right? I remember when I was working down at Baylor, 2017, 2018. We had one car, right?
I want y'all to catch this word. We're at Rutgers, but we talking about when he was at Baylor.
Yeah. So, staying up, like I said, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm calling sister, hey, I need you to come grab me. She dead sleep, but she kept the phone on loud because she knew she had to come grab me from the office. She waking up 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, come grab me, wake back up, drop me back off at the office the next morning. Like, those are the things that we talk about now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, remember those times? Now we're raising a baby boy, and he's we're blessed and he's got it good. So
and she has a new Volkswagen as a push gift. I didn't even know what a push gift was until my sister got a car for one. And after that, I said, "Wow, he set the bar a little high." I went and got a ladder and said, "See, let me see if I could grab the bar at least and just hang from it." But way to set the bar high. So I know working with a lot of children, one thing that I'm super big on my show and in the community is mental health.
Yeah.
I know that you work, like you spoke on it earlier in the show, how, you get kids and you get to watch them grow, right? They come in, they're shy, they don't believe in themselves as much, and then you get to watch them grow into these magnificent men, these magnificent leaders. How important is mental health in your coaching?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. So I'm blessed because I work for a head coach who is big on mental health. So we have 2 mental health specialists that work specifically for our football team.
Wow.
Not a lot of college programs or NFL programs can say that. We have 2 full-time health professionals, mental health professionals.
So for the young men that's actually thinking about a school, I want you to catch that. That is amazing to be able to come in to a program. And even for the parents, we got some diehard parents out there that I'm sure that's watching and maybe thinking about sending their child to Rutgers or even talking to their child about Rutgers.
Yeah.
That is major to have that component a part of your program.
Yeah, it's big time. Right, so you talk about coaching at this grandiose level, right? You play Power 5 football. Dude, you can't even imagine the amount of pressure on these young men. You can't imagine the pressure that they feel hearing their mom, their dad, their sisters, their brothers, everybody in their neighborhood that they grew up with, everybody went to school with saying, hey, you're going to make it to the league, right? Like, I got to make it to the league because I got to provide for my family. I got to do well here in college so I can get some NIL deals so I can provide for my family. Dude, that's an impossible amount of pressure to carry, right, and stay sane mentally. So when you see these kids go off the deep end and you see people drop out of school and you be like, damn, why did this person give up this great opportunity? That's because they never dealt with the mental component of the pressure and the stress that it takes to compete at such a high level, right? And if you don't address those issues, then you're constantly stuffing things. And the more you stuff, the more detrimental it's going to be for you and the more explosive that eruption is going to be.
Absolutely.
Right? And you talk about, let's go back, let's continue to talk about it because I think this is important. And there's this stigma around mental health that is negative, but it's very, very inaccurate. Right. And, I'll talk about the kids that I deal with and I'll talk about it myself because I played college football. Right. Well, you have some of these kids who didn't grow up with fathers, don't have a male figure, or the male figures in their lives were negative influencers. Right. So now they get to this level and they have other men, grown men, yelling and screaming at them and demanding a level of excellence that they've never been held accountable to. So now that mental health and that trauma that they've experienced when they were 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 years old, now those same triggers, right, are sparked when I, myself, or another coach yell at them. It's like, oh, no, you remind me of that male figure in my life who walked out on me or who abused me, right, or did me wrong. So I see you in that light, right? And if you can start to break down those barriers and start to break down those walls and digest some of that stuff, now you can perform at a higher level.
Yeah.
Now they can be a better player. Now they can be better in the classroom. Now they can be a better father when that time comes, a better husband when that time comes.
It's a liberation of the mind.
Yes.
1000%. You are liberating them to be their absolute best. And that's so dope that you can openly talk about that. Yeah. And so coming in, is this a mandatory thing that they have to attend How is it set up? Is this something that they come in? Do you guys assign one of the mental health counselors to them, or is this voluntarily?
Yeah, so what we do is we make the resource available, right? So when a freshman comes in, that's part of their orientation to get introduced into the two mental health specialists. And it's their choice, right? Like it's anything. When you force something on a kid or a young man, a young adult, what do? They're naturally rebellious. So it's like, oh, you making me do that? No, I'm not going to do it, right? But once they see that person is persistent, right, and making themselves available and opening up their arms to welcome them, then eventually they'll get to that. And I think everything is word of mouth too. So you get some of the older guys, the guys who are playing, starters, big time players, and they talk about how they're meeting with these mental health specialists. Then what is that freshman going to do who wants to be just like him?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna mimic everything he does. Absolutely. Right. So yeah, it's available. We don't make it mandatory for anybody, but we have a good amount of people who actually see those mental health specialists for sure.
That's really dope. So I know you're not just a head wide receiver coach, but you also do some recruiting. And I know we talked a little bit before we went live. How is that for you? What does all that entail when you say recruiting? What is that process for those who don't know?
It's nonstop, man. It's nonstop. To work at this level of football, which is extremely, extremely high, you got to be recruited all day, every day. So as I was telling you before we went live, so midnight, 12 o'clock, September 1st, was the considered a live period for high school athletes who are going to their junior year. So I'm up till 1:30 last night, right, and texting these kids and calling these kids because this was the first opportunity we had to connect with these kids. So it's nonstop. So now we're in the season and it's just football, right? We're playing games, so we're not on the road as much. But right after the season is over, we get right back to it. Yeah. We're on the road, 5-6 days a week recruiting. You got to bring the best players to your program. So it's fun. It is definitely fun because you meet so many different people. Right? Whether it's coaches, players. The best recruiters I've been around and I've learned from, they go to the schools and they spend hours in the schools and they talking to the counselors, they're talking to the principals, they're talking to the janitors, they're talking to the other students in the lunchroom. Hey, how's this kid? How is such and such? How does he treat you? How do other people in the school view such and such? Wow. Right? Because, you're talking about $400,000 or $500,000 of investment over a 4-year span that we put into each student athlete when it comes to scholarship, tuition, room and board, food, gear, travel expenses. You talk about $400,000 or $500,000 for each kid over a 4-year period. So that investment, right? You better know what you're getting yourself into. So that's why you have to build with these young men throughout their time in high school and get to know them. Because if I put my name on you, I'm responsible for you.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't just offer the best players and the most talented players. We evaluate character, right? And to truly get to know somebody, you got to spend time with them.
Absolutely.
Right. So
speaking of character, it made me think about one of my old directors when I worked for the state of Delaware. I had 2 offices because I was the lead caseworker, so I had an office on the first floor.
Yeah, boss, man.
So I had an office on the first floor, an office on the 3rd floor. So I'm going to my office on the 1st floor, and he comes out his office. He said, "Josh," he said, "why do they call numbers characters?" And I was like, "I don't know." He said, "Don't tell me now. And don't cheat," telling me pretty much don't go on Google.
Yeah.
He said, and give me the answer later. So I seen him at the end of the day. I was like, I don't know. I don't got the answer. He said, because they don't change. Your character, and he told me, he said, you are a man of good character. Mm-hmm. And when you think of character, most people, character is pretty much stated. Now their habits, what they choose to do can change. People can pick up bad habits. But you can see somebody that's completely addicted to drugs, but they had that good character, right? They got that good spirit, that good heart, and you're like, you just had a rough life. But character is super duper important. Mm-hmm. Going back and thinking about all this work that you have to do, right? You recruiting, the games,
I get to do it.
Yes.
I don't have to do it. I get to do it.
Absolutely. How much time and effort do you put into the balance, the work life / family life? How is that?
So I'll be honest, I'm not there yet. I haven't figured that out. I've learned under some very successful coaches, whether it be Matt Rule with the Carolina Panthers, whether it be George DeLeon, God rest his soul, one of the most accomplished and legendary offensive line coaches in the history of football at any level, right? You talk about football, any football coach knows George DeLeon. So I've learned on them, they were grinders. So that's how I worked my way up, because I grinded. So I haven't found that balance yet. And just like anything, you can take stuff for granted. So my wife is phenomenal. Your sister's phenomenal. Like, she gets it, right? She comes to the office. She brings Justice to the office, and they sit in the office with me for 20 minutes just to have lunch, because they know I'm not coming home for, whatever time at night. So I haven't found that balance. And because I have such a wonderful wife and understanding, I haven't really been forced to find that balance. So that is something I'm still working on. So I know you're a man of prayer, so pray for me.
Yeah,
as I find that.
yeah. And I can only hope that I can do the same thing as well. W.W.J.D is taking off.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of different interviews. Thank you, bro.
Thank
you. I'm very humbled. I'm very blessed to be able to do this, to be able to have this platform.
Because I'm gonna cut you off though, because people don't know your story, man.
Yeah.
Like, over, what it's been, 12 years now.
Yeah.
I've known you, right? And I've seen the ebbs and flows. And you talk about just me, people look at me and see the final product. People look at you and see your final product. You know some great things, but the obstacles that you have overcome.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't need to speak on them, but you and I both know what they are. And just for me to see you overcome and keep your positive energy and keep your faith and keep your spirit alive and still look to go help other people, I think that's dope, man. That's powerful. So definitely a huge inspiration to me.
It's a gift. It's an anointing. What we do.
Yeah.
Thrusting our lives into other people's lives and being able to come to work and being able to do what we do and not have to carry none of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say not have to carry, because we carry it everywhere we go. But being able to
compartmentalize?
Yes, that word. And being able to do it so well, people ask me all the time, man, how do you do it, right? Like, Josh, how? Like, how are you still here? How are you still smiling? And I'm very honest with them, bro. I tell them I don't know. But I know it has to be God.
That's it.
Because if it was up to my flesh, if it was up to me, I would have gave up a long time ago.
No doubt.
So God, I know that I'm anointed, and I know that He has blessed me tremendously with a voice, with a platform.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Bishop Gibson, and shout out to Bishop Gibson and his twin brother. Their birthday is coming up on the 9th.
I don't know you, Bishop Gibson, but happy birthday, brother.
Yes. And he told me one day, he said, Josh, you read the Bible, you read the Quran, and tell me one prophet or messenger that you know that when you look at their life story, that you're not amazed that God chose them. Mm-hmm. And it blew my mind. It liberated me in a sense. When I was coming out of the transition, I tell people all the time, I'm honestly just getting to a place in my own life where I'm free to be free.
Yeah.
I'm free to be happy, right? I'm free to
that.
smile. I'm free to love genuinely. Mm-hmm. I'm free to be Josh of W.W.J.D. Yeah. It was hard work. I was in a very dark place that I didn't even imagine coming out of, nor did I care to. Mm-hmm. Again, it was nothing but God. So thank you, bro. Thank you, because you were definitely one of the people that made sure you always gave me that hug, made sure that you called me, made sure that you checked up on me, on my mental health, and I appreciate that. There's conversation, there's hugs, moments that I will never forget. Yeah. And I appreciate that. And it's just a testament of who we are as men, but also who both our families are, right? We come from big families and strong families, hard families.
No doubt.
Many characters in our families, but the love is real. Mm-hmm. And that's what always got me through, that love from my family, that support. And it's not always all the family, but you had those people that love you, that get you through. I'm very big. I tell people all the time, I'm at the age now where blood doesn't make you okay to be in my space. Mm-hmm. Blood doesn't make you okay, because when you look at the rapists, look at the murderers, the bad people of the world, right? They're somebody's family member.
Yeah.
That's somebody's
That's
son. That's somebody's brother.
Yeah, that's real.
So that doesn't make it okay for me to share my space with you.
Mm-hmm.
But the love, the loyalty, the generosity, the smile, the hug, that's what qualifies people to be in our space. Mm-hmm. When you speak about those great coaches, you know, it's a saying that if you hanging around 5 broke people, you'll be the 6.
Yeah.
If you hanging around 5 dumb people, you'll be the 6. But if you're hanging around 5 great people, then you'll be the 6. We've just been fortunate enough to hang around those 5 great guys, those 5 great people, those 5 great women, whoever they are. We also have very strong mothers. Big shout out to our moms.
Tams.
Yup, Viola.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we have strong mothers who I definitely have to give a big up to. We also have strong women in our lives. Join here with me today is one of my closest friends, one of my best friends who I tell the whole world about, Deshanta Campbell on Facebook as D-Camp. But for real, man, she loved me through me, right? She loved me when I didn't love myself. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and she's hard on me, right? She's not gonna sugarcoat nothing. If Josh is acting nutty, she gonna be like, Josh, you acting nutty.
Yeah.
And I love that. And we need that. We need those type of women in our life. So big shout out to the women in our lives. My sister, Maya, who just graduated nursing school. So congratulations to Maya. And this is amazing, man. I really appreciate this. Talking about Justice, because I was just up here for his birthday party, man. You just had a son who just turned 2.
Yeah.
All that work, bro, and then having to come home, man. Yeah. Justice is chill now, but Justice don't mess with nobody.
Yeah, he's savage. He's savage for sure.
Yeah. He doesn't mess with nobody.
Got Sean Shockley in him.
Yeah.
What you think?
Yeah, he gets it honestly.
All day long.
But how was that? How was having a new baby in the mix of all that work?
It's the greatest feeling in the world, bro. Yo, I wake up 5:30, 6 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
Justice knows my routine. He knows my schedule. First of all, he's in our bed. That's his bed, his room. He's got his own room. He's in our bed, stretched out, laid out, arms out, turn around, hold Maya, like everything is his. But he knows my schedule now. So he's up 5:30, 6 o'clock before I am. Dad. I'm telling you, every morning he walks me out the door, gives me a hug, gives me a kiss. So Maya come walk out, give me a hug, give me a kiss. He screams to the top of his lungs. He'll say bye-bye, start laughing, kiss me and everything. And as soon as I shut the door, scream to the top of his lungs. Wow. And it's such a blessing, man, to see. I mean, it's been 2 years, right? But to see the development and the growth is nothing like it. It's nothing like it. And then when you're raising a child with the love of your life, right, and someone as special as my wife is, your sister is, it makes it that much more fun, and it makes it that much more fulfilling. Where I'm never, you alluded to it, that my work schedule is crazy, but I've never been guilted into, you got to spend more time with Justice, you got to do this, you got to do that. She understands it, she gets it. So, I bring him, like I said, he's waking up every morning, so I bring him to work sometimes in the morning. He knows the janitor name. He literally goes running to Miss Maria. She's amazing. She's literally an angel. She's a saint. But she knows Justice now. She's cleaning my office. Justice comes, grab her, give her a big hug. He knows everybody in the facility, from the chefs to the equipment managers to the coaches, everybody. I mean, he's a rock star in the office. But just to see his growth and that development, man, it's been such a huge blessing and definitely a motivation for me to keep going.
I can see him being a coach. Just seeing your work ethic. Like you said, you grew up watching your brother play football. He's growing up watching dad coach. Yeah. And not just coach, but coach on a level that's at the top of his game. What are your predictions for this season? Are y'all ready?
I can't get into that, man.
I tried, y'all.
Come on,
I tried. I tried my best.
Man, I ain't no neophyte, man. I've been doing this, man.
I tried my best, y'all, to get a little.
Here's what you'll get. my group, we have a bunch of hardworking guys. We're going to play hard. We're going to respect the game. That's all I talk about, man. You work hard. You enjoy the process. Like I alluded to with my process, man, like the journey is truly the destination. Yeah. So if you're playing at this level, everybody wants to play at the highest level. They all have aspirations of going to the next level. I tell them the journey is the destination. So enjoy being in college. Enjoy being waited on hand and foot. Like these dudes get their clothes washed every day. They get food cooked for them twice a day, right? They get ridiculous amount of gear and money and they are well taken care of.
Yeah.
Right. And I know a lot of people coaching the league, a lot of my mentors coaching in the league, and a lot of people I played college ball with still playing in the league. It's not like this anywhere else. Right. So I talk to them about enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. So I think they're bought into that. So they'll play hard and they'll be competitive and they'll respect the game and play the game the right way. That's the one thing I can guarantee.
Coming to an end.
Oh, man, I thought we was just getting started. Yeah. I thought we was just getting started.
If you could say one thing to a 17-year-old Damiere Shaw,
yeah,
what would that be?
It's okay. Right? It's okay to be nice to people. It's okay to treat people right. It's okay to be committed, right? It's okay to do well in school. It's okay not to have it all together, right? So many 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, really adults in general, right? Yeah. Teenagers and adults. So many people are so unsure of themselves that they put on this facade that I have this or I have that or I am this or I am that. Dude, it's okay. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because once you learn to just be yourself and be free and comfortable being yourself, it is so liberating, right? It is so peaceful. And that's what I would tell 17-year-old Damiere. That's what I would tell any 17-year-old. Like, it's okay. Whatever it is, it's okay.
I like that. So it is okay. If you're watching this, it is okay. I really like that.
Yeah.
Damiere, thank you so much, bro. And when I say bro, it's so many dynamics to bro, right? Because you really legit my bro. But
listen, the last interview I've done was when I first took the job as the receiver coach in February. I literally don't like doing interviews.
Wow.
But when you asked me, I knew we had to make it happen. This is Thursday of game week. So this is only for you, baby.
W.W.J.D is big.
Sure,
We're big enough to pull the head wide receiver coach out of his office that he lives in and do this interview with us. Shout out to all the people who I've had the honor and the pleasure and the joy of interviewing. I love all of y'all. I look forward to seeing y'all all at the end of the year. I'll keep that on hush, but we're planning something big because W.W.J.D and CMPRadio.net, we have interviewed some of the top.
Oh, you ain't even got to tell me. I just wanted to get on and be a part of the greatness, man.
Yeah, hey, man. I wanted you to be
Pierre,
here.
You locked in? I see you, baby.
Yeah, I wanted you to be here, bro. It's important because you are X66. You are 610. You are Chester. You wear it proudly. You are one of the greats from our city. Thank you for allowing me to have you here. Thank you for allowing me to interview you. I love you. I love you.
Much love. You already know.
You. I love all of my audience. I love all of the people who watch my show, the people in the community that see me out there in the morning doing safe corridors and beeping the horns at me and thanking me. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be the man that I am. Thank you for allowing me to teach your children. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life and to be a part of your family. Thank you to my family, to my loved ones. Thank you to Pierre and CMPRadio.net. We are coming up on 5 years. CMP Radio is 5-year anniversary. It's tomorrow, right, P?
Hard. Congrats,
So,
it's hard.
Big congratulations to Pierre, one of the hardest working men I know. The more I've been spending more time at the radio station, doing more interviews and stuff, and every time I'm there, he's there.
Yeah.
And he's been there, and he's there when I leave. He's there when I come back. He's there when I leave. He's there when I come back. And he's constantly working. So please support our radio station. This is us. This is Chester. I tell people all the time, I'm riding and I'm listening to Steve Harvey Morning Show, and sometimes I get in my bag and I be like, man, I got my own show.
No doubt.
And I'll go to CMP Radio, and I might not watch my show, but I'll watch one of my partner shows, just
As
because that's our radio station.
doubt.
It's not just W.W.J.D. You got Sisters, you got Kicking It with C's, you got all types of shows. And we are a close-knit family, and we all dope. So big shout out to the CMP Radio family. Thank all of y'all. Till next time, make sure y'all tune in every Thursday.
W.W.J.D, baby.
Yep,
Yes,
7
sir.
p.m.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all. I love y'all. Till next time.
Love, brother.
Scuds and Maserati. Ha. I'm giving them hope. You giving them hell. You fill it with pride. Do you send them to jail? I give them a dream, I said, and you'll never fail. Just don't ever lie, and don't ever tell. I'm giving them hope. You giving them hell. You fill it with pride. And you send them to jail. I give them a dream, I said, and you'll never fail. Just don't ever lie, and don't ever tell. Put it in your pocket, for they come and pocket you, nigga. That's when they sit you on your pocket with a Glock to you, nigga. He ran out of time, ain't make it to the hospital, nigga. His body cold, the stick inside him. He a popsicle, nigga. It always